Hello and welcome. This is a lecture series. Please have your paper and pencils ready to take notes. I will ask you to pause the video at certain times to write down the information that is on the screen. This series is designed to introduce you to the Oklahoma Academic Standards for 8th grade. Then you can do assignments from your teacher. Let's look at the Oklahoma Academic Standard today of 8.4.R.3. This is for 8th grade, the 4th standard for reading. Point 3. The language of this standard reads, students will use context clues to determine or clarify the meaning of words or distinguish among multiple meaning words. Please pause the video and write down the definition of this standard. Let's get started. Many words have the same sound, but they have different meanings. So we have to use our context clues to determine that meaning of that word. So what is a context clue? A context clue is when we take little bits of information from the text to find out the meaning of unknown words or phrases. It's a little bit like playing detective and looking for clues. In a previous lesson for Standard 8.4.R.1, we discussed this in a little more detail. I gave this chart for contextual analysis to look for these different types of clues. If you have those notes, please get those notes out and refresh yourself on them. If you don't, please pause this video and write down the types of clues that you can find in context. It would help to write down the examples of the clues as well, if that helps you to remember the type of clue. Today we're also going to look at 4 other types of context clues. We're going to look at direct definition, synonym, antonym, and example. Let's get started. The first one we're going to look at is direct definition. Those clues are right there. Please pause the video and write down direct definition for the clues are right there, and write down the example that I have here as well. My example says the librarian carefully moved the tome, a precious book, to a higher shelf. What do you think the word tome means? It's right there, the direct definition, a precious book. Please pause the video if you haven't done so. Now let's look at the synonym context clues. We have an example. The book of logic contained many conundrums, mind-exercising puzzles. So this gave a synonym. What is a conundrum? It's a mind-exercising puzzle. Please pause the video and write down what you see here on this screen. How about an antonym context clue? Our example says here, 2 new girls started school this week. Jennifer was gregarious. Amy was very quiet. So you have antonyms. Jennifer and Amy are opposites, we can tell, because they're in 2 different places, 2 different sentences, denoting 2 different types of personalities. If Amy is quiet, what do you think the word gregarious means? Do you think it means the opposite of quiet? Yes, that's what it means. Antonym context clues. Please pause the video and write down what you see on this screen. Then we also have the example context clue. For example, it was an idyllic day, sunny, warm, and perfect for a walk in the park. Do you know what the word idyllic means? It gives you an example right there. Sunny, warm, and perfect. It's a perfect day. Please pause the video and write down these examples. Okay, now let's look at some definitions for these 3 words here you see on the screen. Homonyms, homophones, and homographs. Our standard wanted us to determine the definition or find the context clues for multiple meaning words. A homonym is a word which looks or sounds like another word with a different meaning. For example, Axe. Can you tell what I'm saying? Axe? Am I saying the word ACTS like he acts like a big boy? Or if I'm saying the word axe, grab my axe and let's chop down a tree. They sound the same, but they have completely different meanings. How about the word bawled? Can you tell which word I'm saying? Am I using the first bawled or the second bawled? They have the same sounds, but they're completely different meanings. Bawled, the first one, means the baby bawled or cried. Bald could mean my grandpa is bald. He doesn't have hair. So they sound the same, but they're spelled differently and have different meanings. That's a homonym. So what's a homophone? A homophone are words that have the same pronunciation, but different spellings and meanings. For example, aunt. You have the aunt, which is the sister to your mother or father, and then you have the ant that crawls around outside in the dirt. How about the word blue? The color blue, or blue like the wind blew through. That is a homophone. Then you have homographs. Homographs are words that are spelled the same but have different pronunciations and meanings. For example, the word close or close. Close the door, or we are close to our definite destination. So the word close or close could have the exact same spelling, but it has different pronunciations and meanings. Please pause the video and write down these 3 definitions of the vocabulary. If it helps, please write down the yellow examples as well. Let's take a quick look at an example here. Joey wanted to play his new bass, but he also wanted to go with his dad to the marina to catch a bass boat for a day of fishing. So we have a word here, B-A-S-S, that has 2 different meanings and 2 different pronunciations. There are many sentences like this. This is why we need to use context clues to determine what it means. If we look at this sentence, we know that if Joey wanted to play his new bass, it's not talking about fishing because we have the word bass talking about a day of fishing. Bass for a guitar, bass for a boat or a day of fishing. Let's look at the language of the standard again. This academic standard expects you to use context clues to determine or clarify the meaning of words or distinguish among multiple meaning words. Now that we've looked at how to break down context clues and definitions of different types of words that have multiple meanings or same sounds, I hope you understand this standard a little bit better. Now is the time for you to practice these skills and take an assessment to ensure mastery of the skill. Please look at the assignments that your teacher or your parent has given you to practice them. Thank you for joining me today. Get out there and read.